Hey everybody, Doll with a Dollar here, and today I have a video for you that I'm hoping will really help. It's a video of advice, and hopefully something like this can help you as well. This is going to be kind of an ongoing video because I'll have some updates for you over the next few weeks and months, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we've got going on. Okay, so let's have a little heart-to-heart. If you're like me and you don't make a lot of money anymore, you may constantly be looking for ways to cut back and make the most out of the money that you already have. For example, like instead of going out to eat all the time, we cook a lot more meals at home. And like instead of having cable, we used to pay for like Uverse TV. Instead of that, we opted for an internet subscription and a Netflix account. So we do that for like our entertainment and stuff. So you're always looking for ways to cut back and make the most out of your money. Well, one of the ways that we've decided to cut back is our cell phone bills. If you are on a contract cell phone bill, your story may be very similar to ours. We've had many different cell phone companies through our lifetimes, and even in our marriage, we've been through Verizon, at&t, Verizon again, and also net10, which is a prepaid service, but we had a really bad experience with net10. Their customer service was just not very good, and we were having a lot of service issues, and then it was just a really bad experience. I can go more into detail about that if you want me to, but for now I'm just going to leave that aside and just say we had a really bad experience. But Verizon and at&t have the best service in our area, but they're very, very expensive. Verizon, we get a discount through my husband's company, but even with the discount, it's extremely expensive. For my husband and I, we both have smartphones. I have an iPhone 6 Plus, and he has the Samsung Galaxy Note 4, I think. And I've been an iPhone fan for a really long time. So if you're an iPhone fan like me, I understand your pain. I understand the desire to have that phone. It's a very simple phone. I love the operating system. So I understand being married to iPhones. I've had all kinds of iPhones from the 2G up to the 6 Plus, and I have an iPad mini and I have a MacBook Pro, so I understand the love for Apple. We have Apple TV. I understand the love for Apple, but there comes a point in life where you've got to sit down and figure out if that kind of thing is worth it. So we have always been kind of like, you know, we got to have the best cell phones or whatever, but now that we're parents and now that we make a lot less money, we've come to realize like, okay, there's a lot more stuff out there that I would like to enjoy rather than having the best cell phone anymore. And I know a lot of it is like our friends, even though like we're approaching 30, our friends still have not grown up yet, and they still have to have like the biggest and best of everything out. Like, let me get my Apple Watch, and oh, I had the 6 Plus, but now I've got the 6S Plus, and now that the SE is coming out, that's the newest one, so I'm gonna go buy the SE now. And like, that just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, if your phone is working for you, you don't have to go out and get the biggest and best thing anymore. Long story short, my husband and I, for our two cell phones, we're sharing 5 gigs of data. That's not even unlimited data like we used to get long ago with like at&t, and then we were stupid and canceled and went to another company, so we lost our grandfathered in status and all that. But to share 5 gigs of data and to have unlimited talk and text, it costs my husband and I, with a discount, $165 a month. That is a lot of money, and I don't feel like I get the greatest service and stuff for that anyway. So we've been looking for a while because our contract runs out this month. We're going to be completely free of our 2-year contract, which oddly enough, we both have different phones than what we started this contract with anyway. I had the 5C when I signed this contract, and he had I think the Samsung Galaxy S4, I think is what it was, but we both dropped and broke our phones, and so we both ended up paying out of pocket the full $600 or $700 for our phones that we have now. So we didn't even fulfill our contract with the phones that we originally got. So that's kind of an issue, and it's so expensive. So we've been looking for a while. We've looked into Republic Wireless, we've looked back into like at&t and Straight Talk and all kinds of different carriers, prepaid carriers, because if you do the math, it is a lot cheaper to just go ahead and pay outright for a phone. Even if you got the most brand new iPhone out, it is still cheaper to save up your money, buy a phone outright, and then just pay the $45 a month or whatever for a prepaid phone service. But the more we looked, the more we were becoming disheartened, because if you get the kind of data and stuff that you want, even with a prepaid thing, it can be pretty expensive. Usually for what we were wanting, it'd be $45 to $50 a month, so that's still $90 to $100 for a cell phone plan, which is still a lot cheaper than $165, and we'd still be doing that. I think Verizon has a prepaid service that's like $45 a month, so we'd be getting the exact same thing for $90. So, we were definitely going to go with prepaid, and we were actually kind of thinking about just going with the Verizon thing because we'd had such a bad problem with at&t before, and we were like, well, let's just go with a service that we know works. We can go with Verizon and pay $45 a month for that. But the more I started looking, the more I really, really liked the idea of this like Wi-Fi calling thing. And we first started with Republic Wireless because they have a base plan of $10 a month. And then like you can add on data as it goes. The plan that we were going to be looking at ended up being, I think, about $25 a month. And that looked really, really great. You did have to buy whatever phone they had. They have Motorola phones in their arsenal. And so you'd have to pick one of the Motorola phones. I think they have the Moto G and the Moto E, and they have had the X before, but they're supposed to be announcing some newer phones soon, as well as a merger with probably T-Mobile. They're going to be partnering with a CDMA carrier. More than likely that's going to be T-Mobile, because T-Mobile's already partnering with some prepaid folks, and so they were supposed to announce like in April, because Sprint is not in our area. It's like all around us, but not where we are, which in our house is not a big deal, because since they're a Wi-Fi carrier, we can talk on the phones using Wi-Fi, but everywhere else in our city, we wouldn't be able to talk. Everywhere else that we go, we would be able to use Sprint, but not in our neighborhood. So they were supposed to be announcing the T-Mobile thing, and now they've postponed it to like later in the year. Well, our contract runs out this month, so we just can't wait till further in the year. So we started looking again, looking for something very similar to the Republic Wireless thing, which I've heard great things about, and we came across Project Fi, which is Google, guys. This is Google, the internet giant. Google has a cell phone company, and it is a new company called Project Fi. It was in a beta mode to begin with, and some of the reviews were not the greatest, but apparently since it was like in beta mode, it had some kinks, but now they've worked those out, and they run off Sprint towers and T-Mobile. Well, T-Mobile is in our neighborhood, and like I said, Sprint is everywhere else, so supposedly this is going to be a great company for us. I will tell you more about that as we go, because we will not actually be able to use the service until April 18th, which is whenever our other contract is out. But they were running a special on phones that if you ordered the phone by April 7th, instead of paying $350 for a 16 gig phone, you could pay $199. Or instead of paying $399 for a 32 gig, you could pay $249. Well, I take a lot of pictures of my little boy, so I wanted the 32 gigs, so we went ahead and ordered the phones, and as long as you activate them within 30 days of the purchase, you can get that discounted rate. So we went ahead and ordered our phones because we knew we were going to be trying it out, and even if the service doesn't end up being the greatest here and we want to switch, we can always switch to Verizon or something and either use these phones that we just ordered or sell the phones. Also, they use Nexus phones, but since they are Google, they'll probably get like every new Nexus phone that comes out. And Nexus is a really good phone. If you look up reviews, they use kind of like stock Android, which is kind of a very basic Android, and that's the problem I've always had. Like with my husband's phones, is Android confuses me. But the stock Android experience should be a lot easier and basic, and so I'm really looking forward to using this phone, and I may end up using the Apple skin on it so that it is still kind of run the same way or whatever. But anyways, I'll be giving you more updates as we go through this Project Fi experience and let you know how the service is or whatever. But we're going to be doing a gig each. What their price range is you pay $20 flat rate, and that gives you unlimited talk and text. And then you pay $10 for each additional gig. So if you buy 1 gig, that's 30 bucks. 2 gigs, 40 bucks, and on and on. Now, if you're one of those people like my dad who has like a hotspot and you've got like 80 gigs of data worth a month, then obviously this is not the thing for you. But if you're an average phone user and you're on Wi-Fi a lot and you can stay within 2 or 3 or 4 gigs, this is probably going to be a lot cheaper than a Verizon or at&t contract thing for you. And what's so cool about this is the phone is going to be constantly searching for the best network. So whether you're on Wi-Fi or you're out and about, it can switch seamlessly between T-Mobile, Sprint, and your Wi-Fi service. So I'm going to unbox the phone for you guys and just keep looking over the next couple of weeks as I give details about like how to set up the phone. I'll be doing that whenever we actually get done with our Verizon contract. I'll show you how to set it up and how easy that is going to be. And then I'll give you some updates after the first few months to let you know how the service is and whether we think it's worth it. But for my husband and I, we're going to start with a gig each. What's cool is if you don't even use that gig or the 2 gigs or whatever you buy, if you don't use all of your data, they refund you back and you can use that towards your bill the next month. So for example, if we bought a gig for 10 bucks and we only use a half a gig, we get $5 back to put on our bill for the next thing. So I think that's really cool because you're not paying for something that you're not using, and I think that's awesome. Side note, I got really frustrated with Verizon because my husband called and found out when our cancellation date was, and they were like, oh, well, you know, if you guys stay with us, then we can get your cell phone bill down to like $90 a month. So my husband was like, so you mean I've been paying $75 more per month for the same service? That just aggravated us even more, because if you can get people's cell phone bills down to that anyway, why aren't you? Why are you trying to rob people by taking all of this money that people work hard for, and you're not even giving people the same quality of service that you would get from like a prepaid thing? So my husband and I, with a gig each, we're going to be spending $30 each. That's 60 bucks. We're paying $165 now, so that is a savings of $105 a month. So if this works out, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And even if we go to like 2 gigs, because we're sharing 2.5 gigs right now, well, 2.5 gigs each, 5 gigs. But even like if we got 2 gigs each, that would only be $40 a piece per month, which boosts up to like $80 a month, which is still cheaper than $90 and still cheaper, over half of what $165 is. So anyway, hopefully this is, I know this is like really long and drawn out, but I'm really passionate about it, and I'm hoping that this kind of thing can help you too. I just want to make people aware of what these cell phone companies are doing. So anyway, I'm going to unbox this phone for you, and I'll show you how to turn it on and stuff whenever our bill thing comes up in a few weeks. But for now, I want to show you the phone I got. I got the Nexus 5X Ice. They also have the 6P right now, but apparently whenever the newest Nexus phone comes out next year, they'll be getting that as well. Project Fi works with this Nexus 6, the 5X, and the 6P, I think is what it's called. But my husband and I both got the cheaper phone that was running the rate because it was $150 cheaper than it normally would be. So he got the black 5X and I got the ice 5X, and I will show you what it looks like and what it comes with.